All right, ready to jump right into the news. Straight from the Faroe Islands.
Always.
We're going to be looking at all sorts of things. Politics, business, sports, health, even a bit of royalty.
Oh, royalty. I'm intrigued.
Yeah, it's all pulled from Kringvarp Faroe, in.foro, and vp.fo, so, the usual suspects.
The trifecta of Furrow's news. You always find the most interesting stuff.
Well, we try. Let's kick things off with the big one, though.
Yeah.
These municipal elections coming up. 6 mayors stepping down.
6. Wow, that's a lot of change. Seen that on VP.O?
Yep, vp.fo, big shakeup. And there's a new chair for the Posta, too.
The Postal Service. I mean, it's not exactly breaking news globally.
True, true. But, for folks on the islands, that stuff matters. Daily life and all that.
Absolutely. Local news. IS, big news over there. Speaking of shakeups, the Chilaveldi party is having a moment.
Oh, yeah, with Hundi Hoydal
Yeah.
stepping down after 24 years. Can you believe it?
VP.fo and in.fo both had it. A huge figure in Furrow's politics, just
Yeah.
gone. And Siri Stenberg, she had a big win.
Big win, yeah. 24 years, though.
Yeah.
That's like most people's entire adult lives.
The whole generation. It's going to be fascinating to see how the party adjusts without him.
Speaking of adjustments, polls say Hayden Mortensen's probably going to stay mayor of Tórshavn.
So, business as usual in the capital. I wonder if that's good or bad.
Right. Is it stability or is it, getting stuck in a rut?
It's all about perspective, I guess.
Meanwhile, over in Runavik, they're actually increasing benefits for families.
Oh, that's interesting. What kind of benefits?
Childcare stuff, mainly. VP.fo says they're bumping up the deduction, the allowance.
Makes sense with costs going up everywhere. Smart move.
Not every move is so popular, though.
Yeah.
Remember Landstery? The government.
Ah, yes. What have they done now?
They're talking about cutting pensions. For folks who are living together, anyway.
Ooh, that's going to be controversial.
VP.fo did not hold back either, calling it a raid on pensioners. Strong words.
Yeah, that's a hot-button issue, messing with people's pensions, especially right before an election.
Talk about adding fuel to the fire, right?
Yeah.
Well, maybe some good economic news will calm things down.
Let's hope so. What have we got?
Faroe Bank says they're expecting better results this year. Inlawful had the story.
That's encouraging. They're a pretty big player, so maybe things are looking up overall.
Fingers crossed. But then there's this fishing thing. Cod quota's getting slashed in the Barents Sea.
Oh, that's not good. By how much?
25%, Kringvarp Faroe says. That's a lot of fish.
Huge impact for the Faroes economy. Fishing's a way of life over there, not just a job.
Exactly. Makes you wonder how they're going to cope with that kind of cut.
Definitely something to keep an eye on. Big changes ahead, I'd say. Sometimes a quota cut like that can be a blessing in disguise. Forces people to be more creative.
That's a good point, actually. And hey, maybe that Shokovan thing VP.fo was talking about.
The one about line fishing and new opportunities?
Yeah. Could be a sign of things to come. Like more sustainable fishing, maybe.
Possibly, yeah. Turning a problem into a chance to do things better.
Innovation. Love that. All right, enough doom and gloom about fish. Let's talk sports.
My favorite. What's the latest?
Well, we mentioned HB winning the Lugman Spy Pit, right? Big football news.
Always exciting. Did you see the score?
3-1, I think. But Ingefell had another piece about the national team, too.
Oh, what's going on there?
Seems Aiden Klackstein made 5 changes to the squad. Shaking things up.
5. Wow. He's not messing around.
Got to keep things interesting, I guess. Strategic. Very strategic.
And speaking of national pride, Olaf Bararsson, best player in the Betredelden for October.
Wow, that's fantastic. Shows you don't have to be from a big country to make a big impact.
Exactly. Little islands, big talent. Oh, and it's not all football either.
Don't tell me. Handball.
Close. Volleyball. Cy beat Flair 3-1, according to VP.fro.
Nice. Always good to see some variety in the sports news. Keeps things fresh. You mentioned Mullen earlier.
That business in Skelavik.
Yeah.
The one expanding after, 135 years.
Yeah. That story really stuck with me. It's like a symbol,
Of how things can change, but some things stay the same. Growth, but also tradition.
I get you. A connection to the past. But speaking of change, that whole pension thing.
Yeah, people are not going to be happy about that. Cutting pensions is a risky move.
Especially right before an election.
Exactly. Landstery's got to be careful. They're saying it's about long-term stability, the system, and all that.
Right. But try telling that to someone who's relying on that money to live.
Exactly. Could be a major deciding factor for voters come election time.
No doubt. Tough choices all around. And sometimes those choices have ripple effects,
Like
Okay.
with the mycoplasma outbreak.
Yeah, walking pneumonia going around.
Yeah.
VP.FOA had a piece on that. Not good.
Especially in a place like the Faroes. A close community spreads quickly.
And it shows how even when you're out in the middle of the ocean,
You're still connected to the rest of the world, for better or for worse.
it really does.
Yeah.
It's a small world after all. Speaking of connections, did you see Atlantic Airways is making moves?
Oh, yeah. The deals with Icelandair and Air Greenland, smart move.
VP.FO had the details.
Yeah.
It just makes sense, though, right?
Yeah.
Strengthening those regional ties.
Absolutely. More travel options, good for tourism, good for the Faroes economy.
Wins all around. Now, before we wrap things up, a couple quick hits. Remember that in.fo article, the public meeting about traffic?
Yeah, traffic safety. Guess some things are universal, huh? Doesn't matter where you live, everyone's got road rage.
Huh. So true. Oh, and this one's really heartwarming. The Red Cross fundraiser.
Oh, yeah, they raised a ton of money, right? Like over €500,000.
VP.fo says 560,000 euro. For such a small population, that's incredible.
Shows you what a strong community they have, people helping people, even with everything else going on.
Gives you hope, right?
Hmm.
Well, I think we've pretty much covered it all today. Elections, the economy, sports, even a bit of health news.
The Faroe Islands in a nutshell. Never a dull moment, that's for sure.
Definitely not. So, to our listeners out there, what really stood out to you today? What got you thinking?
Yeah, what story made you go, that's interesting? Because sometimes looking at these little islands.
It gives you a whole new perspective on the world.
Exactly. So keep exploring, keep asking questions.
And join us again next time for another deep dive into the news.